Hey Colleton River, my name is Caitlin. I am your registered dietitian. I am also a culinary nutritionist and trained chef. And today we are talking about kind of a complex topic, but one of you guys reached out and was asking about oils. So they were basically asking what oils are good for me, which ones are good for my health, and which ones should I avoid. So I thought I would break it down in this segment. So this is your this week's Ask the Dietitian, and let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to do is just talk about oils in general. There's usually two different types of oils. There's saturated and unsaturated. Saturated oils are usually the ones that are solid at room temperature, and these are the ones that are not good for our overall health. Usually they increase the bad cholesterols and lead to things like heart disease, heart attacks, and strokes. So let's go through the different types of oils, which ones are good for you, what their health benefits are, and if you should cook with them or not. All right, so I want to start by saying all of the oils that we are going to be talking about are about 120 calories per tablespoon. So we still need to be using oil sparingly. As a general statement, your fat intake per day should be anywhere from 25 to 30% of your daily calories. Okay, so the first oil we're going to talk about today is olive oil, and you hear all about how olive oil is good for you because it truly is good for you. It has a large amount of antioxidants. It's great for anti-inflammation, so anything that could be inflammatory like arthritis, joint pain, all of that stuff, just any inflammatory illnesses, it's good for that. And it's the one that really helps fight against heart disease. It lowers your bad cholesterol levels. It decreases your chances for having a heart attack. So lots of different health benefits from olive oil. It's usually my number one go-to cooking oil too, because clearly it's good for us, but I also do want to mention that it can heat to a high temperature, which some of these other oils can't. So from my recommendation, I usually always cook with olive oil. Number two is coconut oil. And coconut oil used to get such a good name. And for like a year, everyone was pushing coconut oil and everything. But the reality is that I mentioned saturated fats are the ones that are bad for us. Coconut oil is 90% saturated fat, where butter is around like 60% saturated fat. So it is, from a saturated fat standpoint, which is what increases our bad cholesterol, it leads to, heart attacks and strokes. That would not be a good thing. And actually, the American Heart Association does not recommend using your fat calories per day from any sort of saturated fat. So that would include coconut oil. It has been shown to help with your hair, your skin, your teeth. So it does have health benefits. However, you can't really cook high heat with it. It is a saturated fat, so I almost never use coconut oil in my cooking. It does, have some antioxidants in it. I keep using that word, but those are basically the things that we eat from food that help fight off anything bad that we're eating or ingesting or breathing in or that's on our skin. So antioxidants are good, but there's other ways that you could be getting your fats from. All right, so next is canola oil. So this is my number two oil that I would cook with or use in my kitchen. It is high in those unsaturated fats. Again, those ones that are good for your heart, good for inflammation. They've been linked to decreasing your LDL cholesterol, which is the bad one. However, you can't really cook high heat with this oil. The reason that is very similar to vegetable oil is that when it is heated to a high heat, it actually puts out some properties that are not good for our health at all. So that's when I usually would bake with canola oil or like a quick saute if I needed to use olive oil instead of vegetable oil. So the next oil that we're going to talk about is vegetable oil. And vegetable oil really can come from many different things. It's a broad name for a reason. It comes from seeds, legumes, nuts, maybe skin from some fruit. It just depends who's making it. You also need to pay attention to the label when it comes to vegetable oils, because they really can be partially trans fats, which the trans fats are the worst of the worst. The worst of the worst. Those are man-made synthetic fats that really increase our cholesterol level, and they're not good for us at all. So just make sure that when you're looking at the nutrition label of your vegetable oil, look for the word hydrogenated or trans anywhere in those ingredient lists, and stay away from it if it does have that in there. But it can cook to not a super high heat, but you can use it in things like baking. There's different health benefits from that type depending on what the source of the oil came from, whether it came from a nut or a seed or whatever. Next thing is palm oil. And we don't hear about palm oil as much, but the problem with palm oil is that it's about half and half. It's 50% saturated, so I don't usually use it because, again, if I'm going to have a saturated fat because I just need to cook with a saturated fat, I'm going to use butter because I enjoy using butter and I use it in moderation. That's just my own personal preference. But it's about half saturated and half unsaturated fat. It is good. It's a great source of vitamin A. It's been linked to brain health, antioxidants. There are health benefits of it. But again, you would be better off using an olive oil from just like a healthiest standpoint. There's so many different types of oils out there, and they all have health benefits. The oils that you should be having in your daily diet would be the ones that would not increase your cholesterol levels. That's the main thing to take away from this. And a lot of those extra health benefits that you'll be getting, you can get from different foods, or some of those fatty acids like omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids that come from like fish and nuts and seeds and things like that. So if you're trying to choose an oil based on its health benefits, I would go with close to the olive oil and try and focus on getting those other health benefits that might be in things like coconut oil or palm oil, and just try and get those from somewhere else. So that is my answer to this week's Ask a Dietitian. And if you have any questions, please send me an email at lewis.lowcountrynutrition@gmail.com. I love hearing from you guys. You have great questions, and I will see you next week. Thank you.